Quarantine Creations with your host, Tabitha Harper. Welcome to art class.
Hi guys! It's Tabitha here with McHarper Manor, and
I'm Missy from Happy Groundhog Studio.
we are so excited to have you guys here today. We are going to be making monsters with Missy, and we are so excited to do it. Special thanks, as always, to Missy from the Happy Groundhog Studio. Now you get to see her face, guys. She's always behind the camera helping out, and we love her so much. So we're so happy that she gets to be here with us today. Thank you, Miss.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
You're so welcome. So, again, thanks to Missy and Sean. Thanks to Twisted Visions Media. Derek out there putting all of our stuff on YouTube for the people that can't join us on Facebook. If you guys are just joining us today for the first time, welcome. We have supply lists and everything that you need to hop on board with us at McHarperManor.com. When you go under our heading, you will see the art video resources link. The direct web link to that too is McHarperManor.com/blog. That's how you can find everything that you need to create with us today. But today we have a lot of things that are going to be really fun here to play with. If you need to know what we need today, Missy's going to take that home here in just a second. Real quick, I am going to talk about the supply list that we just uploaded for week 4. We decided we are going to be doing a week 4 with you guys. We committed to 3 weeks in the very beginning because that's what our district was closed for. It's going to be longer than that. We really don't know when we're going back. So we love you guys way too much to quit all of this. So we're on board. We just added week 4. The supply lists have links to Blick art supplies. They are ready and able to ship your stuff. They are going to be getting it out the door as soon as they can, as soon as you guys place orders. They have awesome promos right now. Today, I think, is 15% off. The deals change every single day. Today is free shipping over $35, 15% off your entire order over $55 or more, which if you're just starting with us or if you're adding a lot of things to your order, replenishing canvas, any of that watercolor paper, because we do those every week, you're going to hit that $55 mark and get that 15% off. So that's rad too. But yeah, you can find all of the supplies on Blick. Everything that you would need for any of our tutorials is available through Blick. Also, if you can't order through Blick for some reason, you are able to do Michael's curbside pickup still too. I believe that's an option in our area. I'm not 100% sure for you guys, but that's still an option too. And we're just excited to be back for another week with you guys. So today, we're going to make some monsters. We are going to do what Missy does, and we're going to sew, and we're going to use some really cool upcycled things. So Miss is going to walk us through which supplies we need.
All right, so first we wanted to try to think upcycled. That's what I do with the Happy Groundhog Studio. And I upcycle sweaters mainly into stuffed animals. But today we thought sweaters might be a little much, so how about a glove?
Yay!
It's beautiful outside, where we are anyway. Maybe where you are, you may still need a glove, but you may have leftover gloves laying around that doesn't have a mate.
Yeah.
So we thought gloves. Now, if you're somewhere now that you never need a glove or you don't have extra gloves, maybe a sock. You may have a sock. We can do something with socks. It's fun. And if you don't have a sock, you could maybe use the sleeve of a little shirt. A little kid's shirt would be really good to do with this. Something that maybe has stains on it or holes on it. That's all part of upcycling.
Yes.
If it's just to reuse what you have. If those aren't available for you and you did buy the 4x4 or the sheets of felt, you can just take your felt. Take 2 pieces of felt, preferably the same color, because everything we're going to use is kind of same color on both sides, and we'll work with that too. So I'm going to work with a glove. You work with what you have, and we'll do it all together. Next, like I mentioned, the felt. So I have lots of little pieces of felt here we're going to cut out. For the felt, first thing you need is either a pen or a Sharpie. We're going to draw on the felt to cut it out first. Then you're also going to need, we put embroidery floss on our list. So we've got these. If you didn't get the embroidery floss and you happen to have just spools of thread at home, that will work perfectly fine too. We just thought using an embroidery needle and a little thicker embroidery floss would be easier for little hands. And sometimes it creates fun patterns. You can see it when it's working. But again, use what you have. If you have a little one who you feel like is going to be struggling with threading, or like a preschooler just does not have the hand skills yet to do that, they can still probably cut out felt. They can still draw, and then maybe we show you about we have some no-sew glue. We can use pens, things like that. So just help the kids not get frustrated on this one, because sewing may be brand new to you, maybe brand new. It's definitely brand new to your kids. So just have fun, and we'll just adapt where we can.
Yeah, that's the plan always. So don't be intimidated. This tacky glue, this no-sew fabric glue, I love. It's by that same brand, Eileen's, that I always tell you guys about, the tacky glue that I love. Same brand. It holds really well. And as we're going through, we'll talk about it. But you might just have to stick a pin in it if you're gluing instead of sewing. But we're going to get through this. We're going to.
And then one last thing is finding something to stuff with. I brought polyfill because that's what I stuff all my stuffed animals with. We put that on the list, so you may have gotten it. If you didn't get it, cotton balls. You can use cotton balls. You can also take t-shirts that you have that are laying around. You can shred those up, cut them up into little pieces. I mean, that's what a lot of things are stuffed with anyway, is old fabric. You can use toilet paper.
TP if it's not gold in your house.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So just get creative. Again, we've been creative with all the other projects we've been doing, so this is just the same. And then when we're done here, we just want to make sure that these stuffed animals are, if you feel like the items are sewn down well enough, but this is probably not really a stuffed animal that the kids are going to sleep with, especially if they're under 3. So we just want to make sure that that's clear going into this.
These, we would just like to say as a disclaimer, these are soft sculptures. They are not going to be stuffed animals for the purpose of like a cuddly friend that you would sleep with. So just putting that out there. You interpret that the way that you would like. But legally, we are saying this is not a safe sleeping pseudo-choking hazard thing.
Right. This is mom-dad judgment.
Yeah.
My son makes little stuffed animals all the time that he sleeps with because he's 10. So it's fine with him.
You're the mom. You're the dad. You're the grandma. You know what's up. So we have so many people. You guys, I get to see the comments today, which is super fun because I don't ever get to do this. So
and I don't.
We have so many people saying hi. So we have West Point, New York, Liz and Alice, and we have oh my gosh, West Point. Oh, somebody said use rice or beans to stuff it. You guys are on it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I actually have done that sometimes. I do rice, and for those out there that love sensory things, that's a fantastic idea. I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't think about it, but
it's hard. Rice, our brains are on.
Rice is fantastic. We've done a lot of kids that have sensory processing disorders and autism. They just really love that pressure. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. So we have so many friends tuning in for, what is it, day 9? I mean, day 9 team. Give me a heart if you're on day 9 team. We have so many fun friends. I hate that we can't say hi to every single one of you or we'd have a 9-hour production, but hey guys. All right, sweet. So what's our first step?
All right, so our first step is pick up your piece of fabric you're going to use. Again, I'm going to use a glove today. So this glove happens to be a little dirty, which a lot of gloves are. Yeah. So I'm going to either turn stuff out or I'm going to cut off the dirty parts. So first thing we're going to do with this glove is, just so you have an idea what we're doing, we're going to cut off the thumb and we're going to cut off the middle fingers, and we're going to start with little stuff. We're going to make little legs.
It's going to be like the rock and roll stuff,
right?
It's
going to be a little, so these are legs.
Sean will like that one.
Then we're going to, then the ones that we use, these guys, we're going to use those as his little arms. Okay? So first thing I think is best to do is turn them completely inside out.
Okay.
And stick the fingers all the way through. That way you don't accidentally snip one when we're cutting these off. But I mean, how fun is it to cut up clothing? You never get to do that.
I mean.
So for this one, I'm going to even snip off his little tag. just get that guy out of the way. So for the first, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna just cut right across these guys, and then we're gonna save those for later. And we're gonna cut off this guy, save it for later. So now why it's still inside out, you can already kind of see that he has a little shape. So I'm going to start with my just regular thread at this point. Now if you only have embroidery floss, that's fine, use that. So make sure you cut the thread with sharp scissors, and then pick up your needle. The side you just cut, that's the side you want to thread. All right, so I hold it really close in my 2 fingers here, and then I pop the thread, or the whole of the needle on top of the thread. You're not trying to stick the thread through, it makes it too hard. I've taught all my kids to thread like this, tiny little piece, and then stick it on. You can lick it and twist it if you need a little bit, but I usually, if you cut a sharp spot there and stick it on, not trying to use too much, not trying to put too much thread, then you're gonna pull your thread so that it's even on both sides. Can you see that? Even on both sides. So, and then you're gonna take this and we're gonna make a little knot. So kind of lick your little fingers, you hold these 2 fingers together, and if mom needs help with this one, that's totally fine. Twist it around, and then with your 2 fingers, you push it off, and as it twists, and you pull it, hopefully, oh, I see, I didn't do it either. You make a little X there, push it off, twist them together, and then with this extra finger, pull it down, and you're pulling it, and you're making a little knot. And your knot won't be pretty, that's fine, you're not gonna see it. You just want something, your fabric to grab onto so your thread doesn't pop all the way through.
Yeah, so we have some people asking what to do with the sock. So with the sock, we would just be cutting his little heel off and then giving him some legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we would just kind of like cut a little, gap between them, because you're not going to have your little fingers up there.
Yeah.
So we're just going to cut a little gap between them and give him a little leg area.
Right, and same thing. If you've got 2 pieces of fabric, you could either just take the squares that it comes with and use the square. You could draw a shape on it that looks kind of like legs.
And Tom, can you, oh, you are on. Okay, sorry, there's a delay. But yeah, the sock, you're just gonna cut through the middle and give him a little, a little gap there. A little thigh gap, right? Yeah.
Just give him legs.
Yeah.
And then all these sewing techniques that I show you on this, you can still do on these. So if you just started with fabric and you wanted to cut legs out, you just wanna make a square, it's just the same technique. This is just like a little whip stitch that you're going to do. So starting with it again, if we did the thread, it doesn't matter which item you choose to sew on. We're going to start on this one, and you want to stick your needle in above the hole, and the main part here is you're catching that knot so it doesn't pull through. Okay.
And guys, there's a lot of people that are saying that this one is one that that they would like us to slow down. This might just be one that you want to watch on a replay if you're somebody that is not, really nimble with a needle and things like that. So again, we're always available on the replay. Don't stress yourselves out. If you feel any urgency with this and you feel like you might be missing anything, take your time. Go have a little snack break, right? Let's do something, play outside if it's nice. Come back in and watch it where you can pause us. Don't get discouraged and just take your time. Work at your own pace.
Right. Again, just like Tabby said about herself, I've been sewing for a lot of years.
Yeah.
My grandma taught me to sew when I was little, and this is an opportunity for your kids to get to learn to sew. You are not going to be able to go really fast. I'm trying to go slow, But I also want to, again, like we've said, try to keep this in an hour.
Yeah.
So we will repost it again in 20 minutes after it's over if you feel like you're going to need to stop and watch. Otherwise, just watch what we're doing and then maybe go back later and do it. Okay. So we've put the needle in. Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me.
And we're going to do what's called a whip stitch. It's very easy. Again, don't worry about what it looks like. We're just learning here. And you go over one side and you're just trying to pull where you got these two pieces of fabric together. We just want to close that up. You can also use this if you have a hole in your sweater. You just want to pick the fabric that or the thread that matches your fabric if you really don't want to see it.
And Michelle, with the sock, it doesn't have to be inside out when you cut it. I mean, you want to sew it inside out, but I mean.
Yeah, we just say sew inside out because, so like this one, see how it looks you kind of see it on this side, but when you turn it over, you just don't, it has more of that clean finish like a regular fabric does. If you put it on this side, it would be a little more distracting. Okay.
But you do what works for you.
Over and under. Again, yeah. So you over and under.
So we're just wrapping around and we're just kind of doing like, we're pulling it through and we're looping and we're coming back through on the same side every time,
and I'm going to do it again on this side, so I'll show you. So when you get all the way to the end, you're going to create a knot. And I'm going to go ahead and create my knot and then I'll show you one more time with the next one. Go back right in where the thread is coming out of the fabric right here. Take your point of your needle and go underneath that. And now you've got a little loop. Okay, and then you have a little loop there. You stick your needle back through that loop and you pull it and you end up with a little knot. And if you want to do it again, go back underneath the knot with the point of your needle and go back up. Okay, again, that was just called a simple whip stitch. Once you have that, you can take your scissors and just give yourself about a ½ an inch. Okay, again, you may have enough thread on your needle to go do the next section. You may need to put more thread on. Again, we're gonna create a knot on the end of the thread by holding it with 2 fingers, crossing it over, and pushing it off. Maybe you need to push off with that extra middle finger there and pull it in, and it creates a little knot.
So, Miss, for those of us on the struggle bus over here, like yours truly, and guys, it's important to know that I'm not good at everything, and this is one of those things I'm not good at.
Do you need me to embroidery your needle?
Yeah, embroidery floss. It's like crazy hair. He doesn't want to do his thing. Do you have any tips for me with that?
I do have tips. So,
okay.
The main thing, if you're having trouble threading it, first a little spit, lick your finger like this, and squeeze that together. The other thing is, if all those little hairs are all separate, you're never going to get those in. So trim them.
Excellent.
Okay. And make sure, try to get them as close together as you can. Hold it with the fingers really close. You don't want a bunch of thread sticking out because it's all wiggly. It's like trying to have hair all over the place and try to get it in a rubber band. You got to hold it all together real tight. Okay, see he's even got a little tiny nib up there. Get him off. So again, you're holding your thread and you're putting your needle on top of the thread. And the embroidery floss is a little thicker. Wiggle him on there. Let's see if I got him. See?
Oh my gosh, you're like a magician.
But it's really trying to move the needle, not move the thread. Okay. That's the part. The needle is hard, so it doesn't wiggle, and your thread does. So you want to try to move that.
So what makes an embroidery needle an embroidery needle? Is it just thicker with a bigger hole?
Just the size.
Okay.
Thicker thread, thicker hole to put it through.
Cool.
Now, if you have embroidery needles and you have just regular thread, you can use those.
Yeah.
So if you're having a hard time threading the embroidery floss and you have regular thread, you can use the embroidery needle with the thread.
So
that way it may be easier for that one. So
that's
see if
how
you
I
have
always cheated. I always
you have
looked
a
for the one with
big
the biggest hole.
see, big hole, little thread works a lot easier.
Yeah.
So if that's something that would work better for you, do that. Another tip is if you are still really struggling, you can take your here, let me grab a piece here, your embroidery floss and cut it, and then you can pull it apart.
And just take one thread out.
And take one, obviously bigger than this one, but you can take one
Mind
thread.
blown.
You can take one thread out. That should be very easy to thread in that big hole. Okay? I hope that helps everybody. I hope everybody's not struggling here, because sewing, once you kind of get the hang of these just really basic things here, I feel like is really fun and actually pretty therapeutic.
Yeah. So those of us that have socks, I'm going to pretend like mine is a sock because I've cut mine to be like a sock. You are just going to go around, and actually maybe I'll just use the sock, you guys. Those of you with socks, you are just going to take your needle and you are going to sew around. And Tom, can you see me? No, I have to hold it up this guy. So you're just going to sew all around. Okay, so I'm going to flip him inside out because I want a pretty seam.
So it's the same stitch that I'm doing.
Stitch that Miss
so
is
I'll
doing.
show you. Again, whip stitch. Any of these things that you're doing, you just whip stitch all the way around, leave a hole so you can turn it inside out, and so we can put stuffing in it. Okay?
So anything you guys are making, you just want to sew up, but don't sew them closed. So if you're sewing your little sock guy, don't sew him completely closed. Maybe just keep the little thigh gap part open so we can put his stuff in.
Okay, so I'm going to keep sewing this guy, same whip stitch. We put the needle in, we have the knot, see the little knot he's holding, so he's not going all the way through. If you pull it and your thread pops back out, you just got to redo your needle.
Laura, hot glue guns instead of thread are like, that's what I've done. But you know what? I wanted to bring Missy on to give you guys some things for your toolkit, right?
And again, maybe another day where you guys have a little more time, you want to gather some more things now that you've watched it. So we get at the end and we're going to create that knot again. And I'm going to kind of just keep moving here because I want you guys to see I want to get through the project. Okay, so again, a knot, needle goes under the knot and goes back through the loop. Okay?
And if this is hard, this may be a multi-day project for you.
Yeah.
This live is live because that's how we started this thing. Truthfully, that's really the only way I knew to put a video out there for people. When this whole thing started, I thought, you know what? We've done little live tutorial, not even live tutorials. We've done live meet and greets at the studio before. That's what we're going to do. So that's the format we had. Do not feel like this live session, any part of it, is what you need to be completing in this time. We are giving you the tools so that it's live, so we can answer some questions. We're going to leave it out there for you, and you guys can come back and see that content and work at your own pace. All right? If some of you are discouraged, don't be discouraged because sewing may not be your thing. Sewing is definitely not my thing, but you know what? I'm having fun trying it, and I am learning, and we're all learning. And these are great tools for life, guys. You can sew. Missy just taught you how to mend a garment that you may have loved using a little stitch. So these are tools for life, not just for monsters.
Okay, so now that we've got those, if you've got those sewn up, you're going to turn your little glove, which now we won't call it a glove anymore. We're going to call it a monster's little legs. And see, even I didn't do a perfect job. If I didn't want to see that, I would pick a thread that matched, but I kept it with gray so that you guys could see where my little thread is. Okay, so then we take his little arms and we turn those inside out. Okay, and now I'm going to take a little bit of stuffing because we're not going to get back to these guys. So we need to go ahead and put his stuffing in, his little arms. Now, you just pull off a little piece. You could stick a little cotton ball in there, whatever you have. You don't want to put stuffing in him. He wants little, tiny little flat arms. You can do that too. So I'm going to pick embroidery floss for this one because I think this one will be kind of fun to see the little stitches on him to give him a little extra color. So I already have my needle threaded here with purple on it. Again, you can pick whichever color you want. Same thing. We're going to make a knot. Cross it over your finger, push it off, hold it with your third finger on there with your fingernail and pull your fingernail on it so it makes that little knot.
And if you are using shared supplies, we're not, there was, several comments about fingers and mouth. This is only if you've sanitized your materials and you are using your own materials, and we're not sharing things, guys. We're not endorsing licking each other. That's not happening today. Not here in this place.
So I'm going to hold the monster's little body, put my hands inside, and you got to kind of hold this together. Now, if it's a little easier, we can take a pen, a straight pen if you have it. If you don't have a straight pen, use one of your extra needles that you have. You can always, a straight pen is just a needle with an end on it. So you can use another, like a straight pen there, or your needle to hold him on. Moms, maybe you can pin that on so that it's a little easier to do it. So we're gonna just do another whip stitch. Now this one is fun, and sometimes you gotta pull it. I like this because then you can see him and it just gives him a little extra. So in and out. It's so simple.
Denise, how do you do arms for a sock? You would just take, where we cut kind of the heel off so that he would be like one single little body. You can cut some arms out of the other piece that you have left over. Just, take pieces and make sure they match, and you've got two layers that are the same. And just chop some little U shapes, some potatoes out of them, You know how I like the potatoes.
Yeah, you can also just take your felt that you have.
Yeah.
And you could just cut a little strip across.
He may be color blocked,
And just sew a little arm on just like that. Same technique, but he just wouldn't be a rounded arm. He would just be more of a flat arm, which is fine. Monsters can have long, flat arms.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sewed that on, and then again, we're going to do the same technique where we make a knot. Oh, see? That was the wrong needle. We got him stuck in there. Okay, so I had that needle holding that on. I can go ahead and take that off and create the knot to hold that on. So again, back in. I got the thread stuck in there.
Yeah, you could cut a line down the middle. You're right. You could fold it over and cut a line down the middle to make the pattern for a little arm too. I mean, you guys are so smart. You can totally improvise.
Yeah, you could lay your hand on a piece of fabric and trace it.
Yeah.
And then you could sew that in any way you want. Or just, you also don't have to just take two squares, sew them together, and then add felt on all the sides. We're going to add felt sticking off of these guys too. So I'm in the middle of making that knot.
I just stuffed my guy inside out. I'm so smart.
Yep.
Somebody was asking what size needles do you have to use? Is there a standard size, or is it just whatever feels comfortable?
Yeah, you can use any size. We recommended embroidery needle because it was easier and the hole is easier to thread.
It's a bigger hole, yeah.
But use whatever needle you have. I would say that as long as it's a metal needle. Sometimes they have those plastic needles, and those won't really work for this kind of thing.
And they may, if you have the yarn needles for knitting and crochet, and you have these these
socks.
Really big wide knit ones that you can see through, these are really fluffy chenille guys, you can use those plastic needles. Those are great for that, and you can actually use yarn with it, and the kids can really just kind of do their own thing with it, and it's not as much of a poke hazard. But you know, the needle part isn't specific unless, if you can thread it, you can use it. So Miss, how long have you been doing this so that everybody has some idea how to gauge this by?
Well, I did mention that my grandma taught me how to sew probably when I was about 7.
Yeah.
And then I did the old home ec class.
Gosh, everybody loves home ec class.
So, and then now I've been doing the Happy Groundhog Studio for 7 years.
Yes, and that's about, I don't know, how long have we known each other?
Probably about a year or so after that, maybe 2 years. We started running doing the same
markets. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just stitching around over and under into the sweater, out to the outside sweater, arm, and it just, see this side, it creates the little guy there.
I'm not going to put arms on mine, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not asking for permission. I'm just telling you.
I was really questioning whether or not I wanted to do the arms.
It's great to show everybody how to put an arm on there if they want to.
And actually, I was going to throw in one quick idea too, is that I make tooth fairy pillows. And I really felt like the little glove without the arms, if you just sewn them up, looks like a tooth.
Yes.
And so you could just do a tooth fairy pillow. And I'll throw a tutorial up later today of how to do that. But for now, if you really feel like the arms are too much and you want to do a tooth, or turn him upside down and just make a bunny head or something.
Oh my gosh.
So I think you can come up with some other things, but this was just an idea to try to make it the most kind of stuffed animal-like as we could. And again, I love using upcycled materials. That's kind of how I also got started with this. Well, I have a sculpture major, and so always was drawn towards soft sculpture, which is what this is. We're making soft sculptures today.
Amy, don't cry. There's no crying in sewing. All right, you, my love, you need to put the project down. You need to, if you're a mom, you need to go have a mom break. If you're a kid, you need to go play for a minute, and you need to come back and you need to rewatch this when your mind is right for it. Because I will tell you, there are days I sit down and I can't paint because you have to open your mind to it. Guys, we have so much going on right now. This is not a normal time. Do not put undue pressure on yourself. If this isn't working for you, turn our faces off, okay? Pause, come back to us later. This is fun. This is therapy.
This is our happy time. We both had some rough mornings this morning.
Oh my gosh.
This is our happy time right now.
Yeah.
And, you just have to pick when your happy time is going to be. And if this isn't it, please just pause it and come back later. But I love sewing. It is very therapeutic to me. Yeah. So I just want to teach this skill to you guys and your kids.
And it's important for life.
The amount of people that come up to me and say, I can't sew on a button, or, people have been asking me to teach sewing for a while, and I feel like this is my opportunity to do that. And I'm just really excited to do that. So let's go back to the monster. And this part's fun. If your sewing part was stressing you out, just stop and let's just draw the shapes and cut those out. And then you'll have the pieces to finish it later. Okay?
And Amy, you could glue, girl. You could glue. If sewing, if this needle is not your thing, so the needle, search for an embroidery needle. I've linked it in the Amazon links that, you're not going to be able to get from Amazon now. But embroidery needles is what you will look for. Yeah. But if not, Eileen, this lovely lady, Eileen makes some no-sew fabric glue, and that might just be your jam, because that's my jam. Yeah. I'm not the sewist.
We'll talk about that. If you end up using glue, say you use it to stitch around, for instance, you will want to use the glue, and then you will want to pin it, for instance. Okay, just to get a good bond together. So if you do decide to glue seams, you won't be able to stuff it right now. You're going to need to wait until that glue dries. Yeah. So let's move on to this next part where we can cut all the shapes out. And you can come back. So first, I like to start with a ballpoint pen or a Sharpie pen. depending on which fabric you're going to use. I'm going to use a ballpoint pen on this one. And we're going to draw, I'm going to just do a one-eyed monster. And
he's the one.
Here's my monster, and I want to make his eye somewhere in this shape right here. So I'm going to draw an oval, or as what we like to call around here, a potato.
Potato.
So I'm just going to draw a little potato on there. This is going to be the white part of his eyes. Now, if you are using a white glove, a white sock, if you have a sock and you want to make a monster snake, do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to like do exactly what I'm doing. I'm the one that goes through and picks all Manny and I are the ones that go through and pick everybody's pictures at the end of the day to post. Everybody is so creative. You guys are all so creative out there. I know that you guys can do this.
Yes.
I know you can, okay?
Yes.
All right, so we've got a little potato shape drawn, and then we're going to cut. Now, one trick for cutting is cut with the scissors and move the fabric, okay? Don't try to be all wiggly. Just try to, with the cut scissors, press your scissors and cut, and then move your fabric around. You can cut it off if that's easier, if you got a piece hanging down, and then go around, okay? Go slow. If you try to cut too fast, you might like rip it or tear it or shred it. Just go slow. Okay, so now you have a little circle, and that's going to be his little eye. One little eye. And then I'm going to choose black. Now, only have black markers, so I can't see on black. So what I'm going to do is cut a little square. And then I'm going to cut the little corners off my square. You know, little, tiny, black potato.
If you don't have felt, that's a great question. Use any scrap fabric that you have. Use the piece that you cut off of your gloves. Use anything you have. If you don't have an ugly t-shirt at home, your life is much more organized than mine, because we have a lot of t-shirts and underwear we should have thrown out a while ago that are still hanging out around the house. So if you've got anything like that, use that too. Oh my gosh, look at my wonky like potato monster. And here's the thing, guys. Have any of you ever seen a monster? I would love somebody to tell me what a monster really looks like. So your monster looks like what your monster looks like. All right? He looks like a robber potato.
That's why we picked monsters today. We talked about, because I make a lot of stuffed animals and critters, but monsters, you can make monsters any way you want. They are whatever your own creation is. So I threaded
some white.
Yeah.
Thanks, friend.
I threaded my black, and I chose black just because black was on here, or that's a color felt. Sometimes you can match your thread to your fabric, and sometimes you can do the opposite like this. It depends on if you want to see it or not. So again, before we sew this onto here, we're going to go ahead and sew the eyeball. Now you can do more colors. You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to you can either take, this would be a good way to show you glue.
I was going to say, Tabitha is definitely using the glue on this, guys.
So you want to take glue just like you would on paper, a pretty good amount there, and push it on, okay? You can either use your needle or a straight pen, and you can hold that on. If you don't have glue, if you're going to use glue and no sewing, do that and leave it. And then glue it on and leave it. But I'm going to sew him on because that's what I do. And this one is just a running stitch. Just in and out, just like when you would do those little lace boards. We were doing those yesterday with my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
She is not sewing yet, but I'm determined to get her to sew, so we do lace boards. She has these little cupcake lace boards that she loves. So in and out, okay? Needle, so this is the back so you can see what it looks like. It's very simple. You cannot mess this up, okay? The only problem, you have that knot's holding it in, okay? In one side, out the other side, back in, okay? Just don't poke your fingers.
And if you do, just don't curse.
Or if you do, like I do sometimes, and shock my children. They know
my children aren't even shocked anymore.
They know what I'm doing, and they don't even pay attention to me anymore. Okay, so then you go ahead and take your thing that's holding that on there. You can see that glue. If you use the glue, it does kind of come through on there, but that's okay. Just go with it. And again, needle underneath the thread. And we're going to put it back through the loop and a knot. You can make 2 knots there if you really want to.
We have some folks saying that they're doing googly eyes, grabbing old t-shirts.
Yes.
Yay!
And
attach it on here.
Just doing awesome stuff, it looks like.
Yeah, and
Yay!
you guys are getting to hear Sean's voice. None of you guys have even got to hear Sean before. So that's Sean's voice. That's Missy's husband. That's the other half of Happy Groundhog. If you can hear him at all on the little video. We love Sean, and we thank him for always trying to moderate questions for you guys. He's our happy typer. He's like my brother from another mother, and he knows how I would respond to things during these lives for you guys. So he's the one that's interacting with you if you get to talk to somebody and somebody responds to your question.
Okay, and I'm moving right along here. So you put your needle, push your needle up. You kind of, it's hard if you keep turning it over and looking at it. It's much easier if you just keep it focused on this side. And you just kind of push your needle through, make sure it's coming up where you kind of want it. Sometimes it gets, the embroidery floss can get kind of hooked around in there and get kind of knotted up. If that happens, you kind of just give it a little tug. Sometimes you may have too long of a piece of embroidery floss, so trim that off if you feel like it's too long. And then back down, and then I kind of just tilt it and come back up. If you can do that, and I'm going to take that needle off because I feel like we're kind of secured on there now. How you doing over there?
You know, I'm having so much fun because I don't have to be the one constantly explaining everything today. So it's really liberating for me. I'm having so much fun, you guys. It really is fun.
Oh, this one's fun. Nicole Watson says her kids are saying these are ugly dolls, like the movie.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I like that movie.
Ugly Dolls. We love that movie, too.
They've definitely been an inspiration to me. Those Ugly Dolls came out right around the time the time I really noticed them was about 11 years ago when I was pregnant with my son, and I wasn't making anything at that time, and I just thought they were so cute. And so I think those have subconsciously trickled in because I do get a lot of people saying that. So again, we're putting the little knot in there. Oops, got some elastic popped out at me.
Hey y'all, just wanted to let you know that we're worldwide today. We have people from Ecuador, Scotland, and Spain.
My Scotland's back.
Scotland. Hey. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put the mouth on. Take your Sharpie or your pen. I'm doing a Sharpie so you can see it better. Now, we're going to draw on a little mouth. Now, I think today, with all the sewing, I think I'm going to just draw a black mouth on there, and we're going to just leave. We're not going to sew that mouth.
Call it a day.
We're going to call that a day on that mouth. Now, what I always have to do on all of the things I do is put a heart. So I'm taking my red here, and I'm drawing a heart. And I'm going to take my little tiny chunk of white that's left, and I'm putting a little tooth on him too.
I love it.
So I'm cutting that out, and I want him to have a tooth. See?
I think mine's going to have a tooth too.
I'm going to cut that tooth off a little tiny. And then I'm going to cut my heart again, moving fabric, not scissors, holding scissors in one spot. Put them on there. Okay, so that'll be adding all of our details on.
Oh, somebody has a heart-shaped mouth. I love that.
Let's see, I'm going to just use my little gray thread here to get these on real quick. Because I don't want to run out of time to show you how to stuff them.
We've got 15 minutes left, so you're just fine, girlfriend. You take your time.
So we are going to, I'm going to use the gray thread on these just because, why not? If I had white thread, I probably would do that right now. Or any color embroidery floss. You also don't have to pick white teeth. You certainly can pick any teeth you want. I just think monsters with teeth are just super cute. So I'm going to turn that inside out and make the little knot just like we went. So all of these, I'm not going to keep explaining the knots because it's the same technique each time.
And if you have to go back and rewatch knots at the beginning, you just do that in about 20 minutes after it's posted to the page. Guys, I'm digging the glue, all right? I'm a fan. I'm a glue fan. There is no shame in being a glue fan.
And I actually do use glue sometimes at home just to hold things on because I feel like those pins sometimes get in the way. But so you can see, so you can kind of place them where you want them. And then I just kind of start underneath here like this instead of even have to turn him inside out.
Hey, Marcy shared that there's a 10-year-old out there that started to sew when they were 3 years old.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's such great fine motor skills if you can graduate from those little sewing boards straight into fabric. I mean,
Aubrey, the one that has been on with me a couple times, is obsessed with sewing. She's at home doing this one today.
My niece Pearl has been sewing for a really long time and bringing over little stuffed animals that she makes for us, for everybody's birthdays all the time.
That's so sweet.
I just love it. So see, I'm just doing a little stitching around, making that little heart.
Missy, what's your favorite one to make? What's your favorite animal or creation? What's your favorite
stuffy to make? It might be the narwhal.
Oh, I love the narwhal.
Because my son and I were watching a documentary about narwhals, and this was probably like 6 years ago before they kind of hit all over the place. And he was like, "Mom, you should make a narwhal." I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea, buddy. Okay, I'll try it." And oh my gosh, my home marketing team there has been so great for me.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so there we have him, and I think I'm going to go ahead and stuff him now because we've got this part open, and then we're going to stuff him the rest of the way, and then we'll close that up, and I'm going to probably do a little something on top of there too before we close him up. Okay, so just take your stuffing in little pieces. Fun fact for the Happy Groundhog Studio, Mr. Sean, who's on the phone, is the guy that does all of our stuffing for us.
He's the stuffing machine.
The other thing that I started this doing and why I like upcycled is, you know, being a sculpture major, I always found a challenge in finding something and then doing something else with that. So,
supply challenges. That's like my favorite game, man.
So I had this idea to make stuffed animals, and I actually started with monsters. My nephew was having his first birthday, and my sister drew some monsters for him, and I made stuffed animals out of them. Then after that, I decided, well, I love groundhogs. I should make a groundhog stuffed animal, and my mom was getting rid of a big bag of sweaters. Yeah. And I was like, that kind of looks like animal fur. So, all right, so that's it. Stuff. Make them as fat or as skinny as you want.
So should people know that when they order from you, because obviously everybody's going to want to order a stuffed animal from Missy now, when they order from the Happy Groundhog Studio on Etsy, should they expect that it's going to look exactly like the one in the listing? Or should they expect that you might be using some different patterns and some upcycled things?
I do feel like so I use the same pattern for everything, just like you may pick a glove for everything, but every time you make one, it's going to be a little bit different. So every little guy I make is completely unique. Again, we did the knot, and I'm just going to swip stitch the top of this together. But yeah, I use the same patterns. I actually start all my patterns from a drawing in my sketchbook, and then I draw them on big pieces of cardstock and cut them out. So that way everything starts from the same pattern, but because sweaters stretch and everything's are different, they all look a little different. Plus, part of my joy is the hunt of the really cool sweaters.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I mean, is that like, it may not be the same exact sweater cable knit that they see on something, like they're all really upcycled from vintage and thrift things.
Yeah, I get everything at thrift stores.
Yeah, so you can't expect them all to look exactly the same, but that's truly like the coolest part of it, because it's kind of like a surprise. You don't even know exactly what
now,
you're
here's
getting.
a little trick. If you have to do a knot on the outside because you're closing them up and you don't really want that knot to show, and you kind of want to protect that knot so it doesn't come undone. After you got your knot done, push the thread, put your needle right next to that knot and go in. And then come up about 1 inch away. Watch this trick. I love this trick. It's a little harder with
this one's a little mind-blowing.
A little harder with embroidery floss. I got to pull this one. Okay, I got a little stuck. So pull it, and then your knot right there pulls in. You've got a whole line of thread all the way over to here. Then you give it a little tug and trim it, and it pops in, and it saves your knot, so your knot is a little more protected and won't come out. So there's a little version of him.
So cute.
If we have a little time, you could take, maybe you take
10 minutes.
Again, I'll show it here on. If you want to take and you want to maybe give him a little triangle ears or hair. Looks like you did an eyelash.
I did, because he's got to be,
Yeah.
She's on point.
I was thinking, you could even do something where you take a piece of felt here, and you could do like a bunch of little little snips.
Yeah.
Maybe do a little like hairdo across the top.
So I think I'm going to take this little skein of yarn and I'm going to throw them across the top, and then I'm going to stitch that down just to give him some crazy hair.
Very creative.
I mean, it's just fun.
So I'm thinking I want to
give
do
him some hair.
like little like monster ears on there like that.
Maybe give him some. Oh, let's put some colors together.
When I'm commenting on all the sweet messages today, I thought of my official name. It's the HSC, Head Stuffing Coordinator.
The Head Stuffing Coordinator. Head Stuffer in charge.
So I'm just doing little embellishments. If you have time, you could even, since you guys are going to be able to go back and do this later, you could create a little pocket.
Yes. All of Missy's creations have pockets.
So this is what mine would look like. This would look like if you stitched the mouth on, if you didn't draw it. Oh yeah, and I was going to do a little smiley cheeks, but kind of ran out of time on that. Smiley cheeks, and then you could turn it over, or you could make his belly, and you could make a pocket for your tooth fairy pillow. And again, I'm going to do a little I'm going to put up a little drawing for that if you wanted to make a version of this guy. But see, if you want to, you could turn him and you're the little tooth fairy monster.
He's cute and functional. We like functional art.
My, I think I did a little too thick on my black line there. It's a little bleeding on me a little bit, but oh well.
And that's okay, because this could be our prototype, right? This could be our first one that we make, and we go back and we realize that we love sewing.
It's like,
and we make more, and we do it again.
You know what it is? It's like pancakes.
Right.
You know that first one?
Yeah. The first one that's like all wonky before you really get the batter right.
But it's a little oily, so nobody really minds eating it.
Yeah, right? It's like, he's got all the butter. He sucked up all the butter.
When I go back and even look at some of the monsters and some of the stuff I did in the very beginning, I can't even believe how different they look.
My stuff that we started selling in the beginning is painful. Like Tom and I will laugh so hard that we actually have tears streaming down our face at some of the stuff that people paid us for. Like, they must have been like, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Like, they must have just been like, oh, this sweet girl, she just needs somebody to love her and to buy her stuff. And yeah, but it worked out, guys.
All right. I think I'm going to call mine done.
I love him. I love his horns. Maybe put some horns on mine too.
Yeah. I went a little thick on his mouth. So if you haven't drawn his mouth yet and you want to just don't go as thick as I did, because he kind of bled, or give him a second to dry.
Yes.
All right. Well, I hope everybody had fun with that.
I think everybody did. I'm having a blast.
Let me see yours over here.
He is.
Oh my gosh. Look at you.
I'm having a blast. He's so fun.
Yeah.
I love doing it. Guys, I'm not a sewing person. I've taken sewing classes and I just can't get the hang of it. So I really like the glue.
I wanted to show too with the glue, if you glue it and once it dries, you can go back now and stitch that on if you want.
Yeah, true.
So if even like moms, kids want to glue them on and you feel more comfortable sewing, maybe tonight you just stitch that on for them if they want to take it to bed later or they want to whatever, just to so you feel a little more safe. Because the glued ones might pop off. They could definitely peel them off if they want. Or this is your first one and next time you try it again later.
Right. It's the prototype, right? I mean, it's a work in progress. I think we are all learning for sure.
So you guys, we can't wait to see your creations.
For sure.
So use your hashtag madewithmcharper and show us those.
Yeah.
Manny and I will be picking our favorites, which is really not our favorites. It's just, oh my gosh, they're all our favorites.
How do you choose, guys? You
can't.
guys send us hundreds every single day.
They're just so amazing.
We just try to make our rounds and not pick the same ones of you every day. It's so hard to keep track.
Yeah,
and you guys are
so
all
beautiful.
so precious.
We love seeing your smiling faces.
We love it.
We love seeing the work you're doing. We love seeing
so much
how creative you guys all are.
Yes.
And just like you, we've gotten so many messages that this is like highlight of your day. Well, this is the highlight of our day.
It really
too.
is.
I mean, just to be able to sit quietly and create. My kids are at home working on it. Tabby and I have been quarantining together.
We're quarantogether-ing. That's what we're calling it. We have been together for 2 weeks now.
Yep.
So we're in this together. We know what each other smell like. We know that none of our pants match our tops. Well, Missy does. Missy's all together today. My dilemma this morning was, do I have any clean leggings that will match this shirt? And then I thought, does it really matter? I mean, nobody sees me from here down ever anymore. 6 people, my 5 family members and Missy. Those are the people that have seen me for weeks. So it doesn't matter.
I washed my hair last night.
Yes. Just for this grand occasion, guys, you should really feel super, super blessed on that.
Oh, and then while you're finishing that up, we're also we're going to still do the prizes.
Yeah.
That was really fun last week. We're just doing the prizes because we just want to give you guys something back because you're showing us all your work and you're working so hard. And it's kind of like your little art prize.
Yeah, and we heard that there's a family that is saving all of their stuff to have a gallery, an art show at the end, and they're going to have little finger fix. And I was like, please put me on FaceTime.
Yeah.
I want to see this. That was really me.
I love hearing what you guys are doing.
Oh,
Some people are putting all the artwork up on their windows.
Yes, I love that.
Our neighborhood's doing a bear hunt. Maybe you guys could do a monster hunt.
A monster hunt. Yeah, that's so awesome. So I'm going to wrap my guy up for now. He's a crazy monster. He's like a crazy little hairy guy.
He is so cute.
Yeah.
Look, little monster
Look at the friends together. So tomorrow we are going to be making again. We are going to, do some things.
Oh, you used the stripe as his mouth.
I did. I just figured let's use what's already on there. So yeah, these you are going to get to pick your little monster between the 2 that we have. Misses the other one. But our winner, these are our prize for the winners this week. You pick one, whether you're a very primary stripy or very Easter eggy stripy. These are our prizes for this week from the Happy Groundhog Studio. This one is the one, and this comes in adult sizes too, but this is the McHarper Manor giveaway. It's Art Choose Kindness. It's Augie's space helmet from Wonder. So if you have not read Wonder, you're going to want to do that while you're here in quarantine. It's amazing.
Or watch.
Watch it too. It's awesome. But this is Augie's space helmet.
It's on
says
audio
Choose
too.
Kindness.
We do
Is
a lot
it?
of audio.
We love audiobooks. We
Yeah.
love Audible.
It counts.
Yeah. So those are our prizes for the week. So that's what you're gonna do when you're sharing. We are going to play with Sculpey tomorrow. So today we made soft sculptures. Tomorrow we'll make hard sculptures. This is one parents will have to help with because you may not have to help with the actual making, but you're going to have to help with the finishing because we're using an oven to heat these guys. Polymer clay heats in the oven. If you don't have polymer clay, you can sculpt with us anyway. You can use some of that Model Magic from week 1, or you can use Play-Doh and just make with us, mash them back up, or let them dry out. Play-Doh can dry. It cracks as it dries. But just make with us. Tomorrow, the suggested supplies, if we want these to be miniatures for like American Girl dolls or for your stuffed animals or even like a cake for your monster, whatever we're going to make tomorrow. If you want it to be something that you bake, we'll use the Sculpey. You can use the Model Magic for little miniatures too. That'll work. The Play-Doh, like I said, it'll crack, but you can still use it. If you want to turn these into charms, I did add a little link for some little, they're called screw eyes. They're little teeny tiny, just little guys that we're going to put in the top of the polymer clay that's going to turn them into something that you could throw onto like a little keychain guy, or you could put it on your charm bracelet, whatever you want to do with it. But that's what we're going to use to make charms. Sometimes the charm, the screw eye doesn't always stay in with the polymer clay. I like to thread it in, but sometimes it doesn't always grab. So I like to have some super glue on hand too for that. A little rolling pin, a cylinder. We've been using the hairspray can this week and last week too. So that is another thing that you might want to have with you. If you have old polymer clay, so the polymer clay that we're going to use is not old. It'll be okay. Polymer clay is hard. It's very hard, and that's what makes it so resilient. So moms are probably, you might want to start warming, like letting this stuff sit maybe like right on top of the oven or somewhere that's kind of warm, just to kind of soften it up, because that the polymers in it, once you're
in the windowsill.
Yeah, and the windowsill would be a great place. The warmer, the better. And we're going to have to work a lot with this tomorrow. So little tiny hands are going to get tired. Moms, just to be a little bit prepared for that. But that's what makes this so resilient. If you have old polymer clay that you're using from 6 months plus ago, my magic tool for that is mineral oil. If you have any kind of mineral oil or even almond oil, things that are gonna help break that down a little bit. Vegetable oil won't work. I've tried before, but mineral oil, actually, if you put a little bit on your hands, it does soften up those little brittle pieces. That's my little hack for that. But yeah, we just want to have the polymer clay. If you have toothpicks or tiny little tools that came with your Model Magic, they're great with the polymer clay too, because you can really get in there and make some unique little impressions and things. But yeah, that's our stuff for tomorrow. My Teflon sheets are just my my protective surface thing. The polymer clay has a lot of oil in it, so if you're doing it on a wood table or something like that, you're going to have some residue. So placemat, little Teflon sheets, not that most people would have that, but wax paper, anything like that. But yeah, that's all of tomorrow's stuff.
I'm going to do the next part.
Yeah, you do it.
You guys, thank you so much for watching, but ways that you can help this wonderful woman keep the lights on. Honestly, keep the lights on. She's doing this for free, and she's just an amazing human being who
don't make me cry.
Literally came up with this because she wanted to do happiness for other people.
Oh, thank you, Miss.
When we all started hearing that our schools were going to be canceled, instead of thinking, what am I going to do about myself? Her and her husband, Tommy, that you keep hearing about, they literally went out to lunch and said, what can we do for other people? And they came up with these videos on a Thursday. They told you guys about them and started shooting them even over the weekend.
Thank you.
That's
I
why
love
we're here
you
too.
so much. And I love you guys too. Thanks so much for doing this with us. You have brought so much joy. I've had people just send the sweetest messages, and I try to share them with everybody, you know, Missy and Tommy and Sean and Derek, everybody. I really, your messages, I mean, I've been very honest. I've struggled with depression and anxiety for 22 years. You guys are keeping me going. It's so lovely, just the way you guys are loving on me and us and each other. This is beautiful.
We text each other your messages back and forth at night.
We cry,
crying.
like looking at the messages you send us. You guys are touching us like you wouldn't believe. It's amazing. So thank you guys.
So you're
for
giving
hanging
back
with
to
us.
us as much as we feel like we're giving to you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
We appreciate it for sure. And thanks so much for teaching everybody how to sew.
Thank you for
It's
having
such
me
an
here
awesome
today.
thing.
Thank you guys for wanting to see me on this side of the camera.
Yes. All right. So we'll be back tomorrow to make some little Sculpey guys. And we just really hope to see you tomorrow sculpting in any capacity. If you don't have Sculpey, grab some Play-Doh. Make some Play-Doh. I heard that some higher ups, maybe the governor's wife, even taught everybody how to make Play-Doh recently. So find a recipe. Make some Play-Doh. Yeah. All right. We love you guys. Take care of yourself. We'll see you.
Don't forget about parents.
About
our date night.
Tommy's super excited about our date
Yes.
night. My husband, you guys, that's sweet because he never plans a date. He's apparently excited about this date night we're doing on April 3rd. And we're talking to some people about our one for April 10th. I cannot wait to share that one with you too. So we will have 2 date nights, but one is already up. The supply list is up. Get your stuff. Order it from Blick because they are shipping today.
Ooh, and
yeah.
we'll have live music.
We will have live music. Sean, that you finally got to hear his voice today, he is going to do a little like 15, 30 minute
Live,
like a happy hour for us before we come on live. We're just having so much fun with you guys. We love it. So parents and kids, be so good to your parents that night. Get in bed, stay tucked in. Don't come back and ask for 14 glasses of water. Don't tell me your tummy's hungry. Just be good to your parents, take care of them, and
if
we're
you
going to
can't
enjoy
watch
date
it
night with
live,
you.
it will be up 20 minutes later.
Yes, it will be up. We know California. If you guys can put your kids to bed at 6 p.m., let us know how you're doing it without melatonin, and let us know exactly how that's happening for you because ours aren't going to bed until I can't even tell you on camera.
Whatever.
All right. Well, you guys take care. We'll see you tomorrow, 1:00. Thanks so much.